Did you know that according to U.S. News and World Report, that out of the top 20 places to live in the U.S., that 4 of the cities are in the state of Colorado? No other state can match Colorado's record of 4 spots on the list. Most states only have 1, but Colorado has 4 cities in the top places to live in the country. Hey, I'm Dana with Dana's Colorado Homes and a realtor with eXp Realty. But beyond that, I am a husband. Say hello to my wife, Cindy.
Hello.
And we are parents to 2 incredible kids as well. We have lived all over the country, actually in 4 different states. And I personally have visited every single state except for Alaska. All of this moving has for sure been an emotional experience for us. But with all of that experience, we've learned a lot about what it takes. And my goal is to help you in that transition to Colorado and make it as smooth as possible. So why Colorado? There are tons of stories, of course, about what makes Colorado so amazing, but we have our own personal story, and I want to share that with you. I want to share with you the top 5 reasons why we chose to live in Colorado. I'm also going to talk about each one of those 4 cities that U.S. News and World Report list as great places to live, and then specifically where we chose to live and why we chose to live there. So without further ado, here we go. When I was young, my family and I used to vacation to Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Gatlinburg, Tennessee all the time. It was our favorite place to go. And as I was growing up, I started imagining other places to visit, and I had it on my bucket list then to go to Rocky Mountain National Park. I love the mountains. I loved everything about them. And of course, you know, the mountains in Colorado are so spectacular, and I really wanted to visit there. And over time, as I grew up, I was always enamored by everything that was associated with Colorado. The Broncos and the mountains, everything. The national parks. Fortunately, through education and persistence and a little luck, we were able to move our family to Colorado in 2006, and we have loved it ever since. So if you haven't guessed yet, I love Colorado. And in order to tell you all about why I love Colorado, I've compiled a list of the top 5 reasons we chose to live in Colorado. Hands down, the number 1 reason we chose to live in Colorado is the people. You might have thought that I would have said the mountains would have been number 1 for me, but to me, it's all about the people. I know there's always exceptions, but the people in Colorado are awesome. We have some amazing friends here. There is sort of this like kind and friendly spirit of the people that live in Colorado. Have you ever noticed that like when you go on a hike that when you pass other people, they always like smile and say hello? Well, it's like that all through Colorado. It is easy to make friends, and those friends are really good about accepting you for who you are. People are not too judgmental and believe in a you do you mentality, which I really love. And now number 2 on the list is, of course, the mountains and the great outdoors. If you've ever had the privilege to drive through Colorado, you know that there are jaw-dropping, gorgeous views around every single corner. The famous John Muir quote, "Mountains are calling and I must go," I literally feel that all the time. During the heat of the summer, go to the mountains to cool off. During the winter, go up to the ski resorts to have a lot of fun. If you're feeling the stress of life, you can go find a quiet hike up in the mountains or some incredible view to sit and meditate. There's always something that you can do and find to enjoy about living this close or potentially up in the mountains. 1/3 of all the land in Colorado is owned and protected by either the federal or state government. There are 4 national parks, 11 national forests, 42 state parks, 2 national grasslands, and 8 national wildlife refuges. Going a little bit with number 2 on the list is the number 3 reason we chose to live in Colorado, and that is the weather. You get all 4 seasons in Colorado. There's warm summers, snowy winters, which are getting more and more rare in many parts of the country. And then you get extremely mild and gorgeous fall and spring seasons as well. Did you know that in Colorado there are over 300 days of sunshine? It's true. Colorado is the third most sunny state in the country, on par with Hawaii. And then, in addition to the 300 days of sunshine, there are 115 days without a single cloud in the sky. So it's absolutely gorgeous, and gives you plenty of opportunities to get out and enjoy those great outdoors, which was, of course, number 2 on the list. It can get very windy at times here in Colorado with those Chinook winds coming down out of the mountains, but you can always expect, just gorgeous sunrises and sunsets and just beautiful days year round to get outside. Which of course leads to some of the happiest and healthiest lifestyles in the country, which of course is what has gone towards some of those U.S. News and World Report ratings as the best places to live. That ties into number 4. There's literally something to do every single day and every single weekend in Colorado. The state offers so much to do, it's almost hard to decide what to do. There's annual festivals that occur every single weekend. There's breweries and restaurants by the hundreds that are absolutely amazing. There's every major sporting team represented. There's the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, the Denver Nuggets, the Avalanche hockey team, the Rapids soccer team. There's even the Colorado Mammoth lacrosse team that gets over 1 million visitors every single year. If you're into college sports, there's the University of Colorado Buffaloes, the Colorado State Rams, the Air Force Academy Falcons. So there's lots of activities on that college level as well. But my favorite thing to do is concerts. I love going to concerts, and there's amazing venues all over the state, especially the world-renowned Red Rocks Amphitheater, which is absolutely incredible. Every major artist makes a stop in Denver. I mean, any weekend you can look up and see some world-famous artist that's visiting one of the venues around here, from classical to rock. Even outside of scheduled events, there is skiing, hiking, biking, golfing, disc golfing. The list goes on and on. Like if you want to fly in a hot air balloon or ride in a glider, you can do that. A friend of mine once said that living in Colorado is like living in fantasy land, and I tend to agree for sure. And the final reason I chose to live in Colorado is economic opportunity. With the incredible livability ratings, which we've been talking about, it's also the number 2 rated economy and number 5 in education. And as a real estate agent, I was drawn to, of course, the home values. The average price of homes in the Denver metro area is $650,000 right now. And I know, depending on your perspective, that's either really expensive or really cheap. But it shows the kind of wealth that you can gain by living in Colorado through home ownership. And Colorado has some of the lowest taxes in the country. The state sales tax is the lowest of any state that actually has sales tax. The property taxes, compared to a lot of other major cities, are pretty low. You do have to be careful of metro district taxes, but still, on average, the property taxes are lower. And the state income tax also is a little bit lower as on average as well. And for me personally, running my own business, I was drawn to Colorado being ranked the 4th best place for small business owners. So given the choice of anywhere to live in the country, Colorado was definitely the place for me. So now that I knew I wanted to live in Colorado, where should I live? The 4 cities that were on the list from U.S. News and World Report are: the number 1 place to live in the country is Boulder, Colorado. Number 6 on their list was Colorado Springs. Number 14 on the list was Denver. And number 17 on the list was Fort Collins, Colorado. Boulder is located about 30 minutes to the northwest of the city of Denver. In the state of Colorado, you have the plains to the east and the mountains in the west, and Boulder sits right up against the mountains. There's the large, majestic Flatiron rock formations that tower over the city that are iconic to almost all the signs and everything you see about Boulder, Colorado. There's tons of hiking trails and rock climbing routes and roads to drive and bikes to get up into the mountains that only take like a couple minutes from downtown Boulder. Probably the most dominant part of Boulder is the University of Colorado, the Boulder campus. You should know in Colorado that everybody calls the university CU rather than UC. And there's multiple different campuses. There's CU Denver, there's CU Colorado Springs, and then of course the main campus, which is CU Boulder. And then other attractions in town, of course, are Pearl Street Mall and the 29th Street Mall. There's Chautauqua Park, which has some great hiking trails. There is the Boulder Creek Path, which runs right along, of course, the Boulder Creek for several miles from east to west up into the mountains. And there's some truly nationally renowned restaurants that are absolutely incredible. And then, of course, there's a great art scene in Boulder as well. And Boulder is actually ranked third in the country in the number of artists per capita, which is pretty cool. Next on the list is Colorado Springs. The Springs, as they are known in Colorado, are about 70 miles south of Denver on I-25. And I absolutely love Colorado Springs. If you're a nature lover, there's some amazing things to do. There's Pikes Peak, which inspired America the Beautiful. There is the Garden of the Gods, Cave of the Winds, Seven Falls. So there's lots of great opportunities, and it also is right up against the mountains, just like Boulder is. There's also the Air Force Academy and the U.S. Olympic Training Center. And there's the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, which is a great place to go. They have lots of giraffes there, so you can go pet the giraffes because they have the people up high and the giraffes down low, so you can pet the giraffes. Colorado Springs also has my absolute favorite place in Colorado, and that is the longest continually rated 5-star resort, the Broadmoor. That place is beyond spectacular, and it should be on everyone's bucket list to visit at least once in your lifetime. That brings us to the capital of Colorado, Denver. Denver, which is known as the Mile High City, has all the amenities that you would find in other major cities. The really cool thing is that in Denver, everything's really close. Within a 1 square mile, probably, you can kayak on the Platte River, you can ride a roller coaster at Elitch Gardens, you can see a Broadway show, the ballet, the symphony. You can visit all the major sports stadiums, the Broncos Stadium, the Colorado Rockies, and Ball Arena, which is where both the Avalanche and the Nuggets play. There's an aquarium. There is many top chef-driven restaurants and breweries that are very close. You can also do lots of shopping on the 16th Street Mall or the Denver Pavilions, which also has a movie theater there. As you get out from the city center, there are some amazing neighborhoods to live and work and play, and those include Highlands, 5 Points, River North, which is known as Rhino, Washington Park, Cherry Creek. And as you move out into the suburbs, there's Aurora, Littleton, Arvada, Westminster, some great places to live. And, with over 3 million residents in the Denver metro area, Denver is, it's vibrant, it's diverse, and it's a very well-cultured city that it pretty much has something for everyone. And then last but not least on the list of places to live in Colorado is the college town of Fort Collins. Fort Collins is home to the Colorado State University Rams, which is out of the Mountain West Conference. And it is, one of the top research universities in the country and is rated the number 3 best college town to live in for life. So once you graduate, if you wanted to live there for, life, you've picked a great place to live. Fort Collins is also pretty much like the Napa Valley of breweries. There's something like 20 plus microbreweries there, and Anheuser-Busch there, where you can do a tour and see some Clydesdales. And an interesting stat and I want to make sure I have this right, Fort Collins produces 70% of all of Colorado's craft beer and 7% of the craft beer in the entire country. There's also lots of unique shops, and in the historic downtown, lots of great restaurants, and it's also voted the #1 city for cycling in the entire country. So if you're a cyclist, of course, all of Colorado is great for that, but Fort Collins in particular is set up really well for bicyclists. So to be honest, pretty much anywhere you live along the entire Front Range of Colorado is going to be a great place to live. With 4 of the cities being named in the top 20 on the U.S. News and World Report list. Where did I choose to live? So it's kind of interesting. I didn't choose specifically in one of those cities, but the place that I chose to live with my family is Broomfield, Colorado. Broomfield is centrally located. It's more on the northwest side of the city of Denver, and it's about halfway between Denver and Boulder. So there's Highway 36 to the west edge of Broomfield, and then Northwest Parkway, which is a toll road, goes pretty much through the city, and then on the right-hand side is Interstate 25. So it makes it super easy and quick to get to anywhere. There's also the Rocky Mountain Regional Airport that's very close. It's on the western side, which services the whole area. There's also the First Bank Event Center, which has lots of events throughout the year, everything from the circus to concerts to comedians, monster truck rallies, all kinds of everything that you can imagine goes on at the First Bank Center. Broomfield is also home to some great school systems, some of the top-rated systems in the entire state. There's Boulder. There's Adams 12 5-star schools. There's also Broomfield schools, and it also goes into parts of Weld County schools as well that are still within the boundaries of Broomfield and Broomfield County. But the other main important reason why we chose Broomfield is not only is it centrally located and quick to get to everywhere and everything, it doesn't have the high property values that you would find in downtown Denver and downtown Boulder. You can find $1 million luxury estates in Broomfield, but you can also find first-time home buyer and medium-priced homes in Broomfield as well. You can save a little bit of money by living in Broomfield and still have all the amenities that you would have actually living in some of the other cities. I've always described Colorado as my happy place. It is absolutely beautiful and has a lifetime supply of things to do and places to visit. And I didn't even get into places like Aspen, Vail, Telluride, Durango, Steamboat Springs, Breckenridge. It's just endless possibilities of places to go and things to do. If owning a home in Colorado is your dream as well, be sure to reach out to me at danascoloradohomes.com. It's my goal to make Colorado your happy place as well, and to find that perfect place just for you and your family. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. It helps motivate me to keep producing content, and hopefully I will be able to give you lots of great information that will be helpful to you. My goal is to be your go-to resource for all things real estate, to showcase some homes from Colorado, and to help you find your perfect Colorado dream home. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.